This is your number one baby daddy, Mr. No Good of MrNoGood.com.
When lockup visited Kentucky State Penitentiary, we met Fleece Johnson, a longtime inmate who practices a very different kind of homosexuality.
But we have sexual desires, right? So you got a bunch of men locked up in one place. All of them get hard. All of them's horny. All of them got sexual desires. So what are they going to do? You won't let them have a woman. They going to have each. Somebody's going to have to give us some booty. And it's just that simple.
The most memorable story that Fleece told us was about the place and importance that booty has in a maximum security penitentiary. And he went on about it and on about it.
In his prison, booty. Booty was more important than food. Booty. A man's butt. It was more important. I'm sorry. It was more booty, having some booty was more important than drinking water.
Nigga, you need to drink water to
I
live.
like booty.
Johnson went on to tell our crew how he used to satisfy his sexual desires, especially during the 1970s and 80s, when he was most active and prison security was more lax.
When I see one, and he looks good to me.
Karmelo.
I see him, I say, you come here.
Come here, Karmelo.
I said, I'm telling you what, I like you, and I want you. And we can do it the easy way or the hard way. So the choice is yours, right?
It's gonna be the easy way.
And it was always yes.
Johnson also had a warning for the new generation of inmates. They might be asking for trouble from old-timers.
You know, they got this thing where they sag their pants past their butt. It's a style. They call it some sort of gangster style. You know, it's sexy to us, right? And see, but they weren't prepared for this, right? So you sag your pants in her, man, somebody be up in your butt. You know?
Hell no.
It's just that simple.
Johnson even let the lockup crew know that when he was in his prime, they wouldn't be safe from his advances either.
If y'all had been in her back then in them days, and as much as I like booty, I probably felt one of y'all butts as y'all was walking past me and dared you to say something. I'm not no shame in my game. This is nothing that I'm ashamed to admit. I am what I am. I'm a warrior too, you know, so let that be known. I'm a warrior.
See, man, that's what's gonna happen when Karmelo Anthony gets his young, tender, golden brown behind in prison for stabbing that white boy. He's going to prison. I don't care what, I don't know what you niggas are on. I don't know how you think a GoFundMe gon' ease a nigga's pain when he's in prison. Both him and that one nigga that ran over the deputy. I'll talk about him in a minute. I don't care what you niggas think is justice. That nigga is going to get his biscuits buttered up with syrup. He's gonna get his biscuits buttered with butter and some syrup. And they gonna split them biscuits and they gonna stuff it with big black sausages. Buttered biscuits with sausage. sausage and biscuits, and then them sausages gonna spray gravy on it. When that nigga get in the jail, in the prison, it's gonna be buttered biscuits, sausage, and gravy. I don't know what the fuck y'all niggas... Black fatigue? Black fatigue just now coming out? Nigga, I've been tired of niggas for a good 35 years. I've been tired of niggas for 35 years. Ain't no black fatigue. I remember when I was a little kid going out with my mama. My mama we out there and we see some niggas acting a fool in public. When I was a kid, you know what my mama say? I'm glad I'm Chinese. I know I've said that before. I have to make sure to put that in the tag so I don't say it again. But yeah, my mama used to say, I'm glad I'm Chinese when I was a little kid. When we see niggas out here acting a fool. Now, all of a sudden, everybody tired of black folk. I've been tired of y'all. But the thing is, I know why. It's like a slingshot. You just build up the tension. You was just pulling it back. You loaded up the slingshot with a little ball bearing or the rock, and you pulled it back, and you pulled it back, and you pulled it back, and you pulled it back. And you pulled it back while Biden was here. But as soon as Trump got there, they was able to let go. And all that energy just built out. You couldn't say nothing to nobody. They didn't care if you was gay. They didn't care if you was trans. They didn't care if you was black. They didn't care if you was an illegal immigrant. They didn't care if you was... They even tried to... Look, this is how... They were trying to make it so. Like if you like kids, if you're a pedophile, I forget what they try to name it. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see if Google will tell me. What is it? Minor attracted persons. Let's see what Google got to say. Define the minor attracted persons movement.
The term minor attracted persons, MAP, is a term that originated within online pro-pedophile groups as a self-referential term. It has since been adopted by some academic researchers who claim it is a neutral and non-stigmatizing alternative to the term pedophile. Those who use the term MAP often argue that it distinguishes between attraction and behavior, suggesting that individuals with this attraction are not necessarily child abusers. Some groups, like B4UACT, an organization that has recently held a conference in Ohio, advocate for the affirmation of this attraction as a sexual identity and promote therapies to help individuals accept these feelings. They often state that they do not endorse illegal sexual contact with minors. However, the use of the term MAP and the concept of affirmative MAP therapy are highly controversial and widely rejected by the public and many professionals. Critics argue that it normalizes or downplays the severity and potential harm associated with sexual attraction to children and can be a tactic to gain social...
All right, that's enough. All I know is Google's AI loves to get wordy. They just can't answer a question. They just talk on and on and on. But you get it. That's the next step. If Kamala Harris had gotten voted in, that was the next step that was coming for y'all. That's how bad it was getting. But you got to say, and I think I mentioned this, I made a podcast about Donald Trump, like during the election, when I just felt that he was going to lose that time. But all I know is I remember one main point that I said is that white people were getting too big for their britches. They were just getting out of control. And white people were getting way too big for their britches when Donald Trump was at the height of his power. They was. And niggas was getting niggas and trans were getting way too big, just telling you what you got to do. They were trying to make it illegal. If a nigga tried to say he was abroad, if you called that nigga sir, they were trying to put you in jail for misgendering. They were trying to put you in jail. Remember that? You know? And then black folks, everything was racist. Everything was racist. Everything was racist. But it ain't. Y'all were the niggas that cried wolf. You cried wolf too many times and so many times that nobody hearing you calling it no more. You just a nigga who cried racism. And it don't mean nothing no more. That's why this nigga, Karmelo Anthony, is going to jail. Because we out of control. You can't just do whatever you want to do and think you're going to get off because you're black. You are not there. He is on bond, all right, but he can't leave his house. He know he going to jail. He gonna be having his biscuits buttered, and he gonna be buttering other biscuits and eating biscuits. Yes, you gonna be eating biscuits too, nigga. You think he ain't? This is what's about to happen right here.
First of all, right, if he's a newcomer, right, I want him to suck my ass with jelly, what they call tossing salad. That's the slang word, tossing salad. It means sucking my ass, right? With jelly or without jelly. Some people use syrup. I prefer a guy to use jelly, right? I will reach my climate, right? I will automatically get hard, right? I will, come automatically if he's sucking my ass for about 10 minutes or longer, right? It's a sensation feeling. It makes you feel real good. Most all gays do that. You know what I'm saying? Like guys to suck their ass. It's just like a pussy, right? But the only difference is it's not a pussy, right? It's clean. The person's decent. And the person know that that's an asshole, but in mind, he's looking at it as a pussy because he's in prison. So, toss my salad. Let him eat me, and we straight. That's it. The most hazardous thing in prison life is being in debt over drugs. They can get you killed or raped, one or the other. You can't pay. I had one opportunity where 3 guys, 2 of them owed me money, right? So I knew I couldn't get them together. So what I did, I got one day on a Saturday. I sucked his dick in the closet. You know what I'm saying? I sucked his dick. I had his pants down. He helpless. That's it. He's helpless, right? His dick hard. I'm sucking on it, right? I can't right up and I cut him. And that's why I left the man in the closet. He didn't tell, but he couldn't explain. How could he explain that a fag is sucking his dick and come up and cut him? He couldn't explain that. There's no way in hell he can explain it to the administration.
You son of a...
See there? That's pain. I'm tired. Look, we aren't taking responsibility for our actions. I'm gonna go into this in detail in other ones, and I'm just realizing now I don't want to do it right now. I just wanted to say something about this right here. That and the other nigga. Who's the other nigga? That ran over the deputies, and that's so stupid. Let me figure out his name real quick. Hold on now. I'm going to put right into Google, just like this. Nigga who ran over the deputy because his son got killed. Spelled properly, not killed. What's this nigga's name? Rodney Hinton Jr. See that? Now, for future reference, years from now, when don't nobody know what's going on. Hold on, let me put some little thing on here for this. This is for historical purposes. Like I said, I'm not doing this now. All the podcasts I do, a lot of the shows I like to do, I want them to be able to last and be relevant for years. So, bear with me. Hold on. Like I said, here we go.
In Cincinnati, a deeply tragic series of events unfolded, connecting the deaths of a young man and a sheriff's deputy just one day apart. Rodney Hinton Jr., 38, is accused of intentionally driving into Deputy Larry Henderson while he was directing traffic outside a University of Cincinnati commencement ceremony.
Skip 2 more minutes
Henderson,
to get past
who had
this if you don't
retired
want
in
to hear it.
December after 33 years of service, but continued to work special details, later died from his injuries. This deadly crash occurred just hours after Hinton and his family viewed police body camera footage showing the fatal shooting of his 18-year-old son, Ryan Hinton. The younger Hinton had been shot by a Cincinnati police officer on May 1st after a chase involving a stolen vehicle. Officers had located the vehicle using GPS and confronted 4 individuals at an apartment complex parking lot. When the suspects fled, Ryan ran with a handgun in hand, police said. Bodycam footage, although blurred, captured Ryan running between dumpsters before emerging near an officer who then opened fire. Police allege Ryan pointed a loaded gun with an extended magazine at the officer, although he never fired. Ryan was hit twice and died despite life-saving efforts. Following this, Rodney Hinton viewed part of the footage, but was reportedly unable to continue watching, overwhelmed by emotion. Later that day, he drove his car onto a sidewalk and struck Deputy Henderson, crashing into a light pole. Authorities believe the crash was directly related to the previous day's police shooting. Deputy Henderson was remembered by colleagues as a dedicated public servant and a kind soul who never hesitated to help others. Sheriff Charmaine McGuffey and other law enforcement officials described the loss as heartbreaking. A procession was promised in his honor, ensuring he would not make his final journey alone. As investigations into both deaths continue, the city grapples with a wave of sorrow and questions about grief, justice, and the complex emotions left in the...
Like, look, this is how he fucked up. He shot, there was a Cincinnati police officer shot his son who was running around with a gun. Now forget about all that part, all right? The police officers, well, let me say this. The sheriff, at least in Cincinnati, when you have city cops, sheriffs don't do street level stuff like that, chasing a car thief. No sheriff in Cincinnati is hunting down car thieves. It's the Cincinnati Police Department. So, somebody in the Cincinnati Police Department shoot his son who was acting a fool. He gets up here, gets in a car, runs over a sheriff's deputy. Now, even though he is a law enforcement officer, here, same thing in Cincinnati, Ohio, is the same thing in Akron, Ohio. In Akron, Ohio, it's Akron Police Department, the city cops that chase you down, that cuff you up, punch you in the face, whatever they need to do to restrain you from being unruly and resistant, they got to do. The sheriff, how many times have you looked into a body cam video? There's so many body cam channels with tons of Akron Police Department on it. What happens? The police department arrests the Negro or the perpetrator, because sometimes they white, every once in a while. I just don't see a lot of them, because once I see they white, a lot of them too calm. They not as exciting as when they arresting the niggas. That's just how it is. I'm sorry. Black people are more exciting to arrest than white folks. Black people give up more of a fight. Just like, say you out fishing. There's certain fish that fight harder. That's why it's more of a sport to catch them fish that fight harder than the fish that as soon as they get bite and get hooked up, they're like, oh, okay, he'll go ahead and pull me in a boat, sir. No, they want the fish that's going, I ain't going in that motherfucker. I'm not going. That's what everybody wants. They want you to fight harder because it's more of a sport and it's more entertaining. When you're just all respectful and everything like that, you just basically take the air out of it. And that's why black people have to learn conflict resolution. If you're just sitting up there polite and doing everything by the book and everything like that, man, you just take all the excitement, the energy, all out of it. Then it just becomes a pleasant situation. All right, so he goes and he hits the sheriff. All right, but when in the video, you arrest the fool, you bring him to the jail. It's Summit County Jail. When you come to Summit County Jail, you deal with the Summit County sheriffs. The police don't run the jail. The sheriff runs the jails. The police aren't watching you, aren't security guards for the judges and the court system. The sheriffs are the security guards for the court system. So, when you sat up there and ran over a deputy, first thing you're supposed to do, you ran over the wrong agency. You didn't get the person who actually shot your son, even though he shot the boy in a professional manner. I'd have lit him up like a Christmas tree too. You running around with a stolen gun, running behind a dumpster, and be like, pop, 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 pop. Pop, 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 pop. That's it. I'm not going to let some Negro running behind a dumpster shoot me. He going to get popped. Then he goes ahead, doesn't even get the same agency, doesn't get the cop, doesn't get the same agency. He messes around and gets with the security of the court. They're the ones that feed him every day, the sheriff's office. So if you go in there, you're in the jail, and you just killed a retired sheriff. That means the retired sheriff know everybody. Don't you think everybody? Come on. Everybody, all the sheriffs, how many people in the sheriff's office even knew that dude? Knew him, knew of him, knows people that knows him, people that they respect, their superiors that know him and respected him. And they're the ones responsible for feeding you. They're responsible for your security. They're responsible for whether all the little commissary money that you niggas sent him, he may not even get it. What he gonna buy? If I was a sheriff, deputy, or I'm in the jail, I'm running the jail, and you mess with the sheriffs, and all the sheriffs, we run the whole jail, boy, you gonna have a hard time. One, Summit County Jail don't care about nothing except you having 2,000 calories a day. Nigga, that's what you gonna get. 2,000 calories a day. It don't gotta taste good. Don't gotta look good. Don't gotta smell good. Nothing. Man, he definitely be getting, if you even look at me, like you see how he was looking up in there, like the picture where he got his head up with his bottom lip poked out, like, what you gonna do, nigga? I bet he ain't doing that in there. I bet he ain't doing that in the county jail. Poke that lip out at me and put your head up. And I done was in training with this deputy that you done ran over. I'm gonna knock your teeth out. I'm gonna bust that lip. Straight up. That's what I would have done. Think about it. You just close to somebody. I don't care if you work at Wendy's or whatever. Or you work at Burger King, man. You sitting up there, you work the grill, the flame broiler, and another nigga working the fries, and y'all cool as hell. Y'all do whatever. He fry the chicken nuggets. He work the fryer, you work the flame broiler grill. Y'all do whatever, and there's another nigga over there does the shakes. Another nigga do the cashier stuff. Everybody having a good time. Then there's somebody come in, this nigga from outside do something to one of y'all. You gonna do something. Like, man, that was my nigga. We had the cashier, we had the drive-thru popping when that nigga was here. They gonna do something. So don't think it's sweet. And don't think there is no consequences that's coming up there. And don't think that any of y'all would volunteer to take his place. Black folks, y'all disgust me. But that's neither here nor there. Who cares? At this point, think about it. Look at all the like the little panels they be having. There's this one bald-headed nigga live in Detroit. He be having panels all the time. And he just schools them like preschoolers. He just schools these women over and over again on everything. Finance, relationships, morals, everything. The nigga just school them. And you know what? He can, in 5 minutes, he can get a whole nother panel, a whole nother group of dumbass women. Don't know what he talking about. And then he got to school them. And then he schools them over and 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 over again. You school them over and over again for what? Why we even have panels no more? I'm too old. I'm just going to be the old nigga that's screaming from my porch, you niggas get off my yard. That's as far as it's going with me. I ain't going to hold no panel. Because you niggas don't listen. You bitches don't listen. Telling y'all the same shit over and over again. Then we going to be dead. And then you going to be old. And then everything. I was in the grocery store today. And when I was in the grocery store, they were playing Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Want to Have Fun. All right. Remember when Cyndi Lauper was, well, some of y'all don't, but some of y'all all remember. I remember being in the 80s. Cyndi Lauper, she was just a cute little, had funny colors. I think now that I look back on it, I think that was the music industry's answer to Madonna. They try to make people like somebody's popular, then they make somebody like her. So now I'm thinking that Cyndi Lauper was like the music, just like Cash Money Click was the answer to No Limit Soldiers. They had, how many people how many people sound like Future now? But anyway, when back in the 80s, when Cyndi Lauper was cute and young, she was just girls just want to have fun. Oh, girls just want to have fun. And all the girls along that was young and hot Girls, they wanna have fun. Girl, yeah, you just wanna have fun. You just wanna. But that shit fades out. Then you get old. Don't nobody want Cyndi Lauper if she's even still alive. Don't nobody want Madonna unless you paying them. I don't care. I wouldn't mind banging Madonna once. Other than that, you're going to have to pay me because my penis won't work. And I mean I don't know now. Because I'm going to make another show soon about older women. Because, boy, it looked like I might have to resign myself to just mess around with some older women. They can be all right. But, boy, the lights need to be low. The wine needs to be strong. I got to be on an edible like that nigga laid up with Halle Berry. You know, I'd hit Halle Berry a few times for free. After that, give me that edible. Let me get that edible, nigga. What's the drink around here? Something. We need some atmosphere. Let's go lay out on a beach under the moonlight or something. Because after a while, it's just, I don't care what it is. If I don't really love you or nothing like that, you better have some kind of ambiance around me to keep me hard. And if you're older, you better be using them gums. Talking to an older woman right now. Well, I'll talk about that later, but whatever. I think that's all I need to talk about today. I'm going to go later on about consequences and all that other kind of shit. But I just wanted to sit up here and talk shit for a half hour. I wasn't here to teach y'all nothing new. So if y'all want to hit me up. 330-536-3706. Once again, 330-536-3706. You can call or text me anytime. That's all I feel like talking about today. This is your number one baby daddy, Mr. No Good of MrNoGood.com. Signing off, baby.